Man, am I lucky. For starters, I was born. Out of millions of sperm, I fertilized an egg. I'm also lucky being born in America, in a first world country that is pretty safe. Third of all, I am lucky to be born into a middle class family that loved me. My parents are together after 30 years. I bring up this history because my family's lifeblood, what we talk about, what we care about, is politics and social action. I grew up going to protests, protesting the Iraq War, protesting the Chinese for their influence in South Sudan and the Darfurian conflict. And when I left California to go from San Jose to here in Washington, one of my biggest worries was going to a place that was more conservative, where I would be the outlier from a place that was a liberal bastion, where most people thought like myself. So much so that I almost took small towns completely off my radar for where I wanted to move. Now, after having a conversation with someone, I realized I didn't have very many experiences with conservative people, much less have real meaningful conversations with them. I had demonized these people as rednecks, right-wing gun-toting psychopaths, etc. And the reality was, these were red-blooded, human American men and women like myself, living in this country. And the reality is caring about the very same things I cared about. Stability, a home over my head, food for my children, the ability to put my children through college. We cared about the same things, yet why did we hate each other so much? Why were we so divided? The first thing is probably the internet. Our ability to go in and only surround ourselves with people that agree with us and push away and demonize anyone who disagrees is so easy. Now, to combat this, we need to have those meaningful conversations. We need to ask questions and try to understand the other side. Now, it's been 2 years now since I've moved out here, and I've had more conversations with conservative people than I ever have in the previous 25 years of my life. The reality is that I have seeked out these conversations, and this is what I've learned about having difficult, very difficult conversations. These are the tools that I use to have meaningful conversations and make sure that they end up being positive for myself and for the other side. The first tool that I have is do not assume bad intent. Go back to remembering that we are still the same people that want the same things. And that they hold these beliefs in good faith, that they really believe these for not arbitrary, random, or evil reasons, but for good reasons. The second thing is ask lots of questions. Before making any assumptions about the morality of a person or who they are, try to understand and ask all the questions you can to get to their fundamental beliefs and then work your way back up. The third thing is stay grounded. Conversations get heated. They can be hot and angry. People can get and start making arguments in bad faith. People stop listening when that happens. And it takes two to tango, so you have to not react. Do not get vengeful. Do not get angry. Do not troll back. Make jokes. That's okay, as long as it's not at the other person's expense. Try to keep things light. And if things can't stay light, that's okay to say, hey, let's take a break. The fourth thing, do not take your argument for granted. You need to remember that not everybody sees things the way you do. Not everyone has the same morality and moral lining that you do. You need to make your argument in its entirety. Don't assume that certain parts of your argument are obvious. The fifth thing is take your adversary to a meal. That doesn't necessarily mean lunch or dinner or food. That means go out and be human with them. Go to an arcade, go play mini golf, go take them to dinner. The sixth thing is don't take it personally. Arguments can get heated and things can get said. Remember to be graceful and kind. Forgive the other side and give them space to be curious, explore, and grow. And without that forgiveness, they will feel judged and not have that ability. Now, all this can be hard, but it will help lead us to a better future for ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren. It'll help us build this house that is America up so that everyone gets a fair bite of the apple. And there is so much less suffering when that happens.